I want to talk about Christopher Nolan and Batman. Um, and because what seems to be happening is that Aquaman has, well, people have said that Aquaman's the best film DC has got since The Dark Knight. And I've got to disagree with them there. I really do. As you know, I've thoroughly loved BVS and Man of Steel. But if I was to pick a film that Christopher Nolan did to be anywhere near par of Aquaman, it wouldn't be The Dark Knight. It would be Batman Begins. Why? Quite simply, Batman Begins for me felt more like a Batman movie. It was more directed driven towards Batman, and with the people behind the scenes and the people that wrote it, I'm sure David Goya was more involved in that. It felt more like the comic book character of Batman, where the other two were just somehow homages to what had gone before. Christopher Nolan had said in an interview that he couldn't make a superhero movie. He didn't quite get the grasp of the DC universe, and that's why he brought in Zack to do Man of Steel, because he could handle that much better. And when we got The Dark Knight Returns, The Dark Knight, sorry, it was more focused on everybody else, and Christopher Nolan had even said that the Batman he was doing was nothing of the ones in the comic book. So basically, he wasn't the greatest detective. He wasn't the Batman making all the machines and all the gadgets. No, this was a Batman that somehow was ready to retire after a few years, that had quenched his thirst for vengeance or justice by the third film. And Dark Knight was also just the Joker. Couldn't discredit the actor playing the Joker, but again, it was the fight sequences wasn't exactly there for Batman. The style or the gymnastic that Batman is known for wasn't there. You know, the skill or the Sherlock Holmes of the character wasn't there. This was a Batman real world. And to be honest, these three films, as good as they may have actually jeopardised a lot of the forthcoming DC movies, because people believe that these sort of films will work better. Hence, we got a lot, maybe it paid way to a lot darker sort of universe, because the studio thought that is what would work. But then we look at BVS, and what a fantastic, for me, idea for Batman, where you had Alfred, and she's not just a guy in an office, a butler. He was actually involved in taking down the bad guys. He was Bruce Wayne's moral compass, as he's always been, but he was more involved and more willing to keep Bruce right. Now, that's the way it was done in the comics. Not only that, we see even in Justice League, Batman, Bruce Wayne fixing the ship. Okay, well, we see him fixing the ship or whatever, the Batwing, and we see him deducting things, doing investigations, going into Lex Luthor's party, snooping around and getting evidence and putting things together and working things out and planning how he would take down a god. And then we have, his darkest ideas, his thoughts of how he's been manipulated, which happens a lot in Batman comics. His mind gets manipulated and he turns bad, hence why Dick Grayson leaves. So then you have the fight scene at the warehouse where we actually see for the first time our real Batman. The gymnastics of it, the way he actually controls the room. He walks, he plans how and what is going to set them off. Get them from underneath, pull them down, put the scare tactics in. You know, hurt them, cripple them, something to get it in. That to me is Batman. The Christopher Nolan Batmans, apart from Batman Begins, the other two, not as much. It was just a guy in a suit that relied on other people. And in those other films, and I'm not against those films, but right now I would love to see, I believe we're on the verge of getting the Batman we deserve, and probably this new trilogy will just heighten what we got in BVS. So even though Christopher Nolan movies were good, I just believe that he came away from the character of Batman after Batman Begins. I mean, I played the Batman Begins computer game, and I loved it, how you put the fear factor into those characters. But then he just moved away, and he became this other, he wasn't Batman from the comics, he wasn't Batman that we knew. It was just this guy who was a vigilante that dressed up as a bat. There were no other superheroes in the world. So, yeah, so for me, if anybody says, this is the best film since The Dark Knight, no, I would have said Batman Begins. And I said nothing against The Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises or whatever. They were okay. But for me, they weren't Batman and shouldn't even be considered to even be put up against these DCU movies, because these DCU movies are trying to portray the comic characters that you read about. So let us know what you think. Thanks very much.